And thank you for joining another Sales and Marketing Friday Talks. So as usually, every second Friday, we discuss insights, best practices, and anecdotes from technology company leaders. And so today our guest is Iryna Moiseyeva, the CEO of the CloudServices, a company out of the Ukraine that specializes on the Microsoft data and analytic technologies. Welcome, Iryna.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, friends. Thank you.
Yeah, and so despite being a relatively small player on the global landscape, CloudServices became one of the leading Microsoft partners in the region of Central and Eastern Europe, with hundreds of clients across Europe and Central Asia. And we decided today to discuss what basically helps to achieve this success, how you actually establish yourself in such a highly competitive environment as IT services, and especially among really large companies, while you are a relatively small foreign vendor which enters new markets and so on and so forth. So that's exactly what we are looking forward to learn from Iryna. And so let's start the conversation. And first, I would like to ask Iryna, maybe just to introduce a little bit the CloudServices to the audience, so we know better what you do and how big you are and what you specialize on.
Of course. Thank you, Andrei. Thank you, Roland, for inviting me today. It's a new format of talking to me, but sounds very interesting. So thank you for that. And good morning, friends. One more time. My name is Iryna, as Andrei mentioned. I'm a CEO of CloudServices. We was born like a company in Ukraine around 10 years ago, and has been one of the first partners of Microsoft who started to adopt Microsoft Azure Cloud when it came to the Ukrainian market. So today I would say that we have more than 8 years of working with the Microsoft Azure Cloud, and we tried a lot there and changed a lot during that history. And as you mentioned, Andrei, we focused on a few directions in Azure to be more experts, to build that expertise and to grow the competency. So one of them is definitely Azure Data Services. And what we do, we help customers to modernize their existing data warehouses or build from scratch with using of Azure Data Services. Also, we do in this area analytical systems, reporting systems, but not only. We also work with the app innovation, with resource governance, so with the different more services. But data, I would say, is one of the mainstreams in the company for now. Speaking about how we became successful, I would say yes, Ukraine is a very competitive market. So in spite of 40 million people population, for example, we operate with around 70 competitors on the Ukrainian market who are eligible to resell Azure Cloud. Yeah, so it's not 10 companies, it's around 65, 70, something like that. And we also have it's a really competitive market, so you will not win if you just play with the price decrease or like some traditional approaches.
And just what you shared about what you do, it sounds that you heavily focused on this value added service of the Azure platform, right? Selling mainly services to your clients, and that's not an easy game. Also, from my own experience and what we have seen in our projects, that selling services is much more difficult than selling some ready-made product, right? So, and also the question is, where do you see, like, when you started basically your journey and you positioned yourself as a specialized specific areas, but then you grew and you you started to look also to other markets. I understand that now you have clients not only in Ukraine but also outside of Ukraine. But what were your main challenges for like going out of your home market, basically, to introduce you to
Yes,
the other regions,
yeah,
countries?
I'll tell you why we are successful in the local market, and that will be like a start of answer why we are successful with the scaling. So as we are small, this is from one side it's our strength, from other side it's our weakness, depends on what type of customer we work with. And we decided to use that like a strength, so to build very focused expertise, to become real expert, the company with reputation of expert in some area, so not in the Azure overall, because Azure has thousands of services, even more. So we are very specific and we are very good at this. And we build a lot of cases in the local market. And using this approach, we started to find what market can be the next one. So we decided to use the same approach. We didn't reinvent. We didn't start, play like absolutely new player. We started to use our strengths, which we already achieved. I mean, not only expertise is the number one. So no one will work with you, especially will buy services from you if you are not an expert in this area. And in our way, expertise means not only like a buzzword, we are experts, we are the best. No, it means that when we face a very mature customer, for example, we talk about their data warehouse, their challenges with the building of some analytical solution, we know much more than them. So only in this way they are like interested to go on with the talk to our staff. Because if not, they will say, yeah, you have a great workshop, you have everything is great, but we will stay with our local partner.
I have a question, and as you mentioned, I'm totally with you in a sense that expertise is number one, what is required. But then another big thing, which is quite challenging, is how to demonstrate this expertise, how to stand out in market, how to get to that first conversation with your prospective customer. Can you talk about that part of your demand generation?
Very, very good question, Roland. It's actually not easy. Because of many factors. If you are a small company, you don't have like a big budgets, for example. You don't have a lot of staff to provide the cold calls, etc. So a lot of limitations. What we do, we tested trialed and failed a lot of approaches. We tried to do cold calls. We tried to make a lot of digital campaigns, various one in Facebook, in LinkedIn, in Google. So we didn't find or invented the successful approach just from the first step. No, we tried a lot and found the way when we have like a very specific technical 3-hour session with the customers, and it is like a first interaction with them. So it can be a very quick intro with a customer who is interested in the potential services, 15 minutes call just to see each other, to meet each other, to get introduced. And then we tell them the value, why to arrange this 3-hour session, technical session with their team, what will they achieve, etc. And on this session, we actually, through learning, we demonstrate our competency. It can be called workshop or webinar. It can be hosted online. Actually, we started doing it in the COVID times when we couldn't go to new markets. And it's very, very important to visit the markets when you want to scale on them. But we couldn't do that in 2020. And we did everything online via Microsoft Teams. And it worked, because during these 3 hours, our team was demonstrating extremely high level of competency. They could answer a lot of questions. They could interest the customer. Let's try the pilot. So you see that technology might be relevant for you, that solution might be helpful for you. Let's pilot it. Let's make a proof of concept, etc. So our goal after this session is to push customer to try that in their real life, and that worked for us, and that worked very well, I would say.
Yes, you mentioned 3 hours workshop, and if you want really to demonstrate your skills, this workshop is extremely expensive, because you're probably putting your best people on this workshop. How do you make sure to properly select the right clients for this workshop? Because obviously you don't want to educate customers who are not qualified, who are poor fit, or who are just, I don't know, let's say, some students signing up for a workshop, like free education. Everybody would like that. How do you handle this?
Absolutely. That's why we do that 15 minutes intro call, when not only customer evaluates us, but also we evaluate the customer. So we asked the questions. The first question we ask is, do you have any problems? So if they don't have any problems, just want to educate themselves, it is not our goal. So we don't educators, we don't training agency, we don't want to make that kind of session for them. If the customer has the problem which is relevant to our services, we will work with him. Also, second question is, do they have the team of relevant people for this workshop? Because sometimes they understand that like a workshop for business auditorium, but it is very technical. So we ask for relevant roles, data engineers, data architects, etc. So it should be relevant focus group on that workshop, because we failed many times at the beginning when the guys from chief digital officer was coming, for example, who never seen maybe some architectures on data warehouse. I mean, it's like an example, and it didn't work. So it should be relevant auditorium. It should be problem on the table of the customer, and they must be interested in finding something new to solve their problem. So if those 3 factors work, it's always success. The retention of or conversion, it's better to say conversion from the workshop to the piloting, it's very high. It's up to 50%, I would say.
Oh, yeah,
if you select
very high. But it also means that a lot of preparation is probably needed in order to run the job, as you said, like hitting the audience expectations in terms of the competency. And I'm wondering, like, how do you achieve this kind of high level of knowledge and competency on the specific customer, if at all? Do you kind of do some deep dive investigation, or do you have maybe already existing industry knowledge, what you demonstrate? Because one thing is the technology part, that I understand, that you're learning, certifying your specialists, and that is where you can demonstrate easily. But then the customer specific part, that's the question.
We work with the different customers, different industries: banking, insurance, manufacturing, FMCG. Yes. So different. Yeah. So it's not our goal to know their industry. There may be some specific issues. What we try to do, we try to know very deep, like 360 view about the area where we deliver the value. So if it is data warehousing and analytics, so we learn not only Azure, for example, stack of products, but also we need to know how it is built, for example, on Oracle or on some other technology or Snowflake, etc. So what are the differences? When we do a lot of testing with the customers. It's also learning for our team how to work with different data sources, different sizes of tables, etc. So if you, for example, have experience of working with a banking who operate with billions of volumes of data in a data source. After that experience, it will be much easier for you to talk to any customer who is smaller. So that's why I say that we invested in the building competency, huge efforts. It's not only money, it's also time, it's people whom we train, whom we involve in different pilots, different projects. So they learn not only theory, but also a lot of stuff on practice. So like that we work. We try to be the best in this area with this approach.
So that means that basically you demonstrate not so much the industry competency, which is obviously is not possible or very hard to maintain because they are working with varieties of different industries, but you rather focus on these very technical scenarios which are relevant more or less to most of these industries, and these are related to this data and analytics type of kind of technologies,
yes,
right, and needs.
Yes, but even a little bit in another way. We try to solve the customer problem. So this is like the main target for us. And we don't demonstrate that their problem can be solved only because we work with Azure, so only by Azure. No, it can be solved by many products which are available on the market, but the most optimal way, value for money, efficiency, performance, it's, for example, in data services in Azure. So we try to convert that conversation to this. And this is actually true because they are like leaders in Gartner on analytics. So yeah, it's true actually. So that's why we use it like a tool for conversion to pilot.
And you mentioned this conversion from the workshop to, let's say, pilot pretty high, like more than 50%, half of your prospects then converts. But how long it takes for you in general, like to enter the new accounts, like from just this first conversation to having a workshop and to having a project? Is it like probably matter of months, right?
It can be even longer. So if it is a well-known market like Ukraine market, it can take much faster. It can take a few weeks, I would say. Depends on the readiness of the customer. So as more problem is more important for them, they quickly will be coming to you. If it is just like interest, so of course not. It can take the months for the first interaction. But if it is a new market, what is important to it can take much longer. It can take 4 months. So, for example, when we started to work with Kazakhstan a few years ago, to gain the first customer, it took us, I think, around 1 year. So it was a long period of interactions, meetings, workshop, pilots, etc. So it was very long. But for in European markets, it's a little bit different story. The markets are like more agile here. So it depends on the market. It depends on the readiness of the customer. The bigger problem they have, the sooner they will come to you because they will think why not to check, why not to attend that workshop if it is will help me. What we do, we try to build maybe some local relationships to find some representatives who will be like a first door opener for us, because it's always very difficult to find the first customer on the new market. It's a very challenging story. As soon as you found him, you made a good case with them, then it's much easier, much quicker. Yeah, Andrei, you wanted to ask something.
So you mean basically to find some... I just wanted to ask, like you mentioned, like a first reference. It's meaning have a quick win in the market and then to use that to demonstrate and to build the relationships with the other potential clients. That is what you say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a first case, it's much easier than to find the second, the third, etc. It's like give you much more opportunities then.
You mentioned Kazakhstan. You also mentioned Western Europe. Now, looking forward, which markets are you seeing bigger potential, or maybe you can talk about where your company is willing to go? Is it more Western Europe? Is it perhaps still Kazakhstan? Kazakhstan also, I mean, like from our perspective, is rather remote country, but it's massive. It's very big. They have large companies, large infrastructure.
In terms of the markets, I would say that like everybody wants to go on the Western Europe markets because of just man-hour rate. As one partner told me, because of man-hour rate, I want to go to the DACH area, Switzerland, Germany, Austria. But the competency level also bigger there. So you have to be prepared to go to those markets. In terms of Kazakhstan, I would say it's a very interesting market, very interesting, but it's at the same time very specific. It's a specific culture. They have a specific business approach, but market is absolutely attractive. People are very nice. The businesses are very good, and they work very good with European companies, with Ukrainian companies. They are open to integrate with our regions. And we even hired the local person, our commercial director, stay in Almaty. He works in Kazakhstan, and we put big attention on this market. Yeah, we hired him, a very, very good guy. We hired him this year. And in terms of European markets, we were looking for and starting working with them closer neighbors to Ukraine. For example, we started from Baltics in parallel with Kazakhstan, and we have a few customers in Estonia, in Lithuania, Latvia, 3 countries. Also, we look at Adriatics market. So the cultures who are closer to us, it's easier to make first steps. And I think we started Adriatics a year ago, and now we have 4 customers there. So markets absolutely different from Baltics, but also, so all of them are quite well and has a big interest in analytics. And yes, as a next step, it will be Western European markets because they have a lot of potential there.
Yeah, obviously. But I would like to come back to this question about the entering new markets. And you said that it's not really easy to kind of have first customers, but when you have it, then it goes much smoother. And I'm wondering, like, what you see working really well for establishing the first customers, first wins? Is it more like you leveraging like vendors like Microsoft, for instance, which introduce you to the market, makes customers maybe speaking to you, or you rely more on your own activities like digital, and then you position yourselves to this audience through some digital channels, or it's combination? What do you see working well really for this type of activities?
I would say it depends on the business, services, and products, what you deliver on the market. But for us, the combination works. For example, in Ukraine, we used to have very good relationships with the vendor, with the Microsoft, of course, because of like a win-win position. Yeah, we took the revenue, the Azure sales for them.
Yes,
they introduced us to interested customers whom we can sell our services. So it was absolutely win-win strategy. But when we are talking about new markets, we are new for the Microsoft on those markets. So it's not easy story, and you need to build trust with the field sales there as well. So we use the combination of tools. Yes, Roland. Yes.
You mentioned the importance of relationship with Microsoft, and I have seen many companies building part of their success because of relationship, because they have find a way how they can help the big guys and big guys are happy to introduce with their customers and so on. Maybe some advice from your side. What should the smaller companies really do to establish this relationship with vendors, and how to do it?
Oh, I would say that establishing relationship, it's always journey. So it's like in a personal life, you need to pay attention on that relationship all the time. Don't skip it. It takes time, so it will not be built during a month or two, and you need to understand the goals of a vendor. So what are the goals of your partner or your vendor whom you want to build those relationships, and how you can help to achieve those goals? So it's not like friendship, it's a business relationships, and it should be like it should be profitable, it should be interesting for both parties. So as soon as we as a partner, we are interesting for the vendor, because we generate them revenue, we generate them new customers, and that customers are satisfied with us as a partner, of course we are very valuable for that vendor. And from other side, if vendor see our needs, they help us, they support us, of course that vendor is also very important and very valuable for us. So it's all the time like a win-win, I would say. But you will need to take time to build that relationship. Yeah, definitely. It's not a short story.
As you said, as in real life, right? So relationships, this is most time and effort consuming actually activities in our lives, regardless whether it's personal or business or whatever else. But just in the conclusion of our conversation, Iryna, I would like to ask you, because assuming that we have among our listeners some similar companies like yours and growing companies, and you have quite an experience during this more than 10 years. And I would like you to maybe share some recommendations what maybe other companies should avoid doing when they maybe consider expanding to new markets and to new regions, if you have any.
I would say that what to avoid, not to stay only on your strategy with which you have been successful before. So its strategy cannot work on the new market or with some specific customers. So be ready to change it, and to change it several times. I mean, not only because our world is very uncertain right now, but also because a lot of changes are coming very, very fast in technology world, in the world of vendors, in the world of our customers right now. So not to stay on if I would successful before with this approach. For example, like I heard recently from one of our partners, that we are very successful because we have a very good relationship with our customers, and they definitely will buy from us new technologies. I would say no, they will not, because they need something new now, because they need, for example, maybe some specific competency, or some, I don't know, some other approach, or some even pricing approach, which shall be different for them right now. So like be more critical to the processes, to the teams you have, and be ready to change it. So more flexibility, more adaptability in today's life. I would recommend to everybody.
Yeah. I think this is very valuable advice. I join you for the same, and I think it's very important not to rely on the past success, but be ready for something new, always learning and challenging yourself. That's a very good summary for our today's conversation. It's clear that any success requires a lot of efforts, and we see from your story that these more than 10 years were very, very intense for local success, but then expanding this success to other markets, building the team, building their reputation. And I'm glad to see you growing, and I'm sure that there is a very bright future for companies like yours. And that is what I wish you.
Thank you.
You personally and to your team. Thank you very much for coming and sharing your story with us. I want to remind everyone who is listening to us or watching us that if you go and search for IBD Consulting on LinkedIn, you will find our company page where all this type of content is available for you just for your reference. And we also have established a dedicated YouTube channel where you can find these type of episodes, but also our webinars and many other interesting videos, what we believe can help you build more successful business. So go and check out, for sure it will be helpful. I would like to thank you, Iryna, once again for coming and sharing your story.
Thank you,
Wish you a great
friends.
success moving forward.